Hello, Blizzard fans! This is FalconPaladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between VampyWorm and Bensonhurst on Ruins of Seras. Let's bring up that production tab and get right on into it. In the top right of Ruins of Seras, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Ascension. It is VampyWorm. And in the bottom left of Ruins of Seras, we have the blue Zerg player. It is Bensonhurst. I don't know if that's a reference to something or not. I cold cast these, so I don't look up the names in advance, but Bensonhurst is like, I don't know, kind of sounds like an anime name or something. Bensonhurst throwing out as the Adept OP. VampyWorm says, meh. As the Protoss player, that's probably the answer that I would expect to expect. It's kind of redundant. Expect to hear from Protoss players. And from VampyWorm here, but again, is probably going to go ahead and open Adepts just because they do really well against Lings. They do fantastic against drones, although in the past, again, I have seen Protoss players go Adepts and then Zerg respond with just mass Speedling and surround the Adepts and kill them before they can, you know, move around, before they can actually kill too many of those Lings and too many of those drones. So VampyWorm says, I like to see the armor and less hit points and shield. I'm not sure if the armor reduced, but basically I think he wants to make it less tanky, allow it to hit as hard as it does, but make it harder to kill, which kind of is the best part of the Adept. So I'm not sure if his Protoss brethren would be happy to hear Vampy say that, but it's a change we'll probably see in the end anyway. As I take a quick drink from my glass, here is Lurker OP, Bensonhurst says. He has lots of questions today. VampyWorm says, yes! This, either he's pointing up or he's doing the eyebrows thing. Yeah, VampyWorm with the hell yeah. Absolutely it is. So looks like we went Gateway Gas into Cybercore into Nexus for VampyWorm. This is a pretty big ramp to hold. If you're Protoss against Zerg, can be a little bit scary to take this Nexus early, but VampyWorm is a very, very solid Protoss player. I think he's going to go ahead and put the pressure on Bensonhurst so he doesn't really have to worry about defending too much. Here at the Natural, at least until he has enough units to defend it with ease. Getting that Warp Gate research, absolutely something very important for all Protoss players to use. This is the Chrono Boost in the latest patch here. It basically places the target structure in a Chrono Boost, causing it to operate 23% faster. I'm not sure why Vampy is not putting this on the Warp Gate research. I'm not sure he plans actually being too aggressive here. He is not sending out, he's sending out probes to scout. This one's going to scout here and see nothing, but I think his next stop's going to be here, just because of the placement of the Overlords saying, all right, these definitely came from the bottom left quadrant and not from the bottom right. There's no way the Overlords got here, especially considering the way they are orientated. Looking up to the north here, they definitely came from the south. So Bensonhurst is doing pretty well on the macro. He's up to 26 Harvesters to 24. That's really impressive to see, especially because of the continual Chrono Boost available to the Protoss players right here as well. Not actually being used on probes for VampyWorm, but that's okay. And starting the great wall off at the natural base. Woo! Alright, so again, here comes a probe with the scout, sees exactly what's going on, at least where the Zerg player is. Did he see that? He did see the third base coming up. That's to be expected though. The manual injects are live for the Zerg, but you get that extra 4 or 5. Somebody correct me, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about this, but I think it's 5 extra larvae per inject with the manual injects now. Bensonhurst saying, I played Terran in Heart of the Swarm and switched over to Zerg in Legacy of the Void. Alright. Probably for those lurkers. Just so fun. Benson saying he was Master's level as Terran in Heart of the Swarm. Vampy saying, I was the same thing. Vampy has actually been Grandmaster level in Legacy of the Void, which is very impressive. He hopes to stay there all the way through retail, which I believe he can do. He's just really solid in his choices and his mechanics, both macro and micro. So again, both players are just kind of gearing up. Gearing up for a big battle here. No harassment from anybody at this point. Benson's up 42 to 35 Harvesters, which is exactly what you want to see as the Zerg player that has dealt with literally no harassment to this point in the game. He has a lot of Lings. He has speed. He's going to go ahead and try to catch anything that comes in with those Lings and those Queens. Roach Warren coming up as well. I think it's Michael Roach Hydra. I've seen that quite a bit. The Roach Hydra composition here. This Queen needs to inject though. Benson, do it. Inject Roach Hydra against Protoss. Just because Colossus have been nerfed pretty hard. They have that 9 range when they're fully upgraded. so they can be targeted down a little bit more easily than they could before. Vipers as well with their Abduct that did exist in Heart of the Swarm, but even more effective now, just because the Colossus aren't quite as far away as they used to be. So Probe coming on out. Are we going to take a third base? Is that what we're going to try to do? Yes, indeed. A completely naked third base. No cannons, no pylons. Nothing here. Vampy feeling very confident indeed. The Lings are going to try to get up this ramp, but no, there's an Adept here. That will never ever die. A bunch of sentries as well. We probably deny this base, though, if we get there quick. And we do. The Lings right on top of this third Nexus, trying to kill as fast as we can with a Mothership core, but not going to happen. This base is going to be canceled. No, it doesn't even cancel. Vampy thought he could save it, and he couldn't. And he loses the Nexus entirely. No refund whatsoever. That hurts. That hurts a lot. So Benson, macroing back on home, has an idle drone here. That's kind of embarrassing. Hey, guys, a whole bunch of idle drones, actually. 4 of them? Do not have a rally set? No, we don't have a worker rally on this base. Benson, no, what are you doing? So there comes the pop of the larva. If we click on them, it looks like 5. It looks like 5 extra larvae per inject, which is really, really great. But again, it's Heart of the Swarm levels. So if Benson... No, Benson wasn't playing Zerg. I don't know. He looks really good for not having played Zerg in Heart of the Swarm. He must have a lot of experience on some level with Zerg, because hinged injects are pretty spot on here. Yeah, 38 energy on your Queen in the main is not pro level, but it's not that bad either. Hallucinated Phoenix coming out just to scout things out. This base again might be in trouble. Another group of Lings comes up. This might be the same group for all I know. Trying to bait out with a single Ling, get a response here from VampyWorm, and here comes the Adept to deal with it. And the Ling does die. The Adept, I don't know if we're going to try to kill this base or what. We are. The Lings again then decide to go after the probes instead, catching 1 probe, catching 2 probes, and an Adept here as well is definitely going to die. Can't move at all. The Lings very happy about that. Maybe killing 1 more probe before they go. Nope. Instead, the Lings just get the heck out of there. They're happy with their kills. So it's been 9 Lings in exchange for 3 probes, an Adept, and a Nexus. That's a fair trade any day of the week at all, if you are a Zerg player. And so we have the double evolution chamber. We're getting glial reconstitution, and there's the +1/+1 coming up for these units, the Hydras and the Ravagers and the Lurkers and the Roaches. So all of these ranged units, ranged ground units for Zerg can benefit. A lot of Ravagers here, and Observer. Man, bring an Overseer or an Observer. Overseer, it is Overseer. Overseer with your army Zerg players, you really, really need it. It's really embarrassing when an Observer is sitting over your army and seeing your exact composition and knowing when you're moving out, and then Protoss is ready for you, and it's just super embarrassing. Bring Overseers with your army, especially because you never know when they're going to be Dark Templar. I mean, at this point, Benson hasn't scouted a darn single thing from either of these bases for VampyWorm. For all he knows, it's mass Dark Templar, eh? Definitely could be. Hydralisk Den on the way. Units tab shows no Observers. No Overseers, rather. I keep messing that up. It's Overseer for Zerg. Observer for Protoss. It both starts with the sound. And there's an S in there. It just throws me off. So we're going a lot of Lings as well. So Roach, Ravager, Ling here. Benson's up to 141 supply. Continuing to make drones. Just made 17 drones. All at once did Bensonhurst, thanks to that extra larva inject on these hatcheries. That's a lot of drones. He's going to go from 60 to 77. No big deal. Just like that. That's the power of Zerg, though. I mean, Vampy honestly hasn't really even been super aggressive in this game. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Perhaps Disruptors. He has Immortals. He has Void Rays. He's getting the shield upgrade for the Adepts as well. He's just not... I mean... I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Immortals are pretty good against Roaches, but this is just a lot of Roaches, a lot of Lings as well. Here comes Benson right across the map. Going to try to deny this third base once again, but a lot of cannons. Okay, 2 cannons. Sentries, Adepts as well. Are we going to back out? Benson's saying, I don't know if I like the terms of that engagement. The Observer following again. What's the answer going to be here from VampyWorm? He has Void Rays. Ravagers do have the Corrosive Bile ability that does launch a missile at the target location, dealing 60 damage to all units in the area upon impact, including air units. Here comes the big battle. The Lings come in immediately and just die. They get melted. Good force field. Corrosive Bile on top of everything, though. And dodging it fairly well here was VampyWorm. Ravager can't get through that area. Ugh, and it dies. Try to squeeze through that little space. And did get exploded. So it's 153 to 168 supply. VampyWorm looking pretty darn good right now. He has the Stalkers. Upgrades are looking all right. +1/+1, +2/+2. Nope, +2 attack. Just about to finish, though. No armor. Again, I don't know that I like Ravagers that much in high-level StarCraft anyway. They can be effective in certain situations. Taking a 4th base now is Vampy macroing very, very well here at the 9-minute mark, but he is down 70 to 65 harvesters. Benson lost some workers there. He built some spines, it looks like. Building any more buildings, I don't know. Working on a hive as well, though, here at the natural base. Again, the observer here is super good. I'm just going to say it. This is MVP observer for the Protoss army saying, hey, VampyWorm, check this out. There are 100 Ravagers and some Hydras back here. I would get some Colossus. Immortals are definitely good. Sending out a Shade to scout with the Psionic transfer ability. I'm not sure why. Oh, you can take the tower with the Psionic transfer Shade? That's cool. I didn't know that. Are we just going for it here? VampyWorm going for it. He says, I'm not scared of your Ravagers. Let's do this thing. Corrosive Bile, though, landing on top of most of VampyWorm's stuff. Some pretty good force fields, keeping a lot of the Ravagers and Hydras away. Bunch of Ravagers are dying. The Void Rays pretty much having a field day. But that's a lot of Hydras back there. They do have +2/+2, and they're a little bit scary. Hey, Overseers, now into the army for our friend VampyWorm, or for Bensonhurst. Bensonhurst? Man, we're going more. Oh, those are Lurkers. All right, Lurkers on the way. Now for Benson. With the hive, I think he has many workers as he wants. No, he cancels the lurker production. Why would... Okay, there's a single lurker there. Oh, no, there's a bunch. Where are they? Huh, oh, all the way back there. Okay, so we don't really want to walk into that. Lurkers with +2 do 36 damage to armored with those spines. And the Stalkers are armored for sure. Immortals are armored as well. They take that extra damage at the same time. Adepts don't, but they just have... I don't know, Adepts might be a good answer to Lurkers. I don't think so, though. I just don't think they have enough HP to really make it. Well, yeah, their bigger problem is that their attack only does 12 damage to the Lurkers, because Lurkers are not considered light units. They are considered armored biological. We are morphing in more and more Ravagers, more and more Immortals coming in for VampyWorm at the same time. +3 attack on the way for our Protoss player, and both players are pretty much maxed out at this point. Good drone transfer, probe transfer over to the 4th base for the Protoss player, and just kind of hanging out at the top of the ramp. Again, it's Roach, Ravager, Hydra, Lurker. All of these do benefit from that missile attack upgrade. Not getting that +3/+3, which I think would be a good choice from Benson. He has enough gas for it, but is he just going to go for it at this point? I think he is. Oracle comes in, says, what's going on? There are Hydras in this army. Throwing down Envision or Revelation. Revelation! So we can see exactly where the army is at all times. Sniping down one of the Lurkers. Nice job. Trying to get a bit of a pincer movement here, though. Void Ray coming right on in. If you're not careful, though, the Hydras are going to kill you. And yes, it does end up dead. This small group of Adepts and Immortals are in a lot of trouble. They're super outnumbered. Corrosive Bile missing there as well. Using the Lurkers to prance on up. A pretty good force fields that one with a little bit. But the Void Rays, I think, are a good choice here. Another Ravager dies. Lurkers, though, pretty much doing a lot of the damage here for Bensonhurst. Coming in once more, just going for it. Even though there are Lurkers back here, the Lurkers are doing a lot of damage to the front. Corrosive Bile as well, not being dodged very well at all for VampyWorm, and the Void Rays are trying to do all the damage they can, but they are slowly dying to this Corrosive Bile, and all the Void Rays are now dead. There are Immortals standing in, doing terrible, terrible damage to the Ravagers, but again, the Lurkers in the back, 8 kills. Only 1 kill, 2 kills, and 1 kill there. Again, Immortals come in, kill that Lurker, kill the other Lurkers, targeting Lurkers here, target firing definitely here. They can't really run away, but the Hydras and the Ravagers kill the rest of the army. And VampyWorm is done. VampyWorm is down to 78 total supply. Throws out the lull. Lurkers are good, man. They're really good. But so are Hydras with that +2/+2, +3/+3 on the way. Bensonhurst not quite sure what is funny about this game necessarily. 10 Roaches in production as well. Vampy says, my army is gone. I know the feeling, Vampy. I've been there before. Pretty even match, though. There really wasn't much left for Benson, but the ability to really remax here as the Zerg player is what matters. And what kind of larva do we have available? 25 larvae are available for Benson. He has a lot of money in the bank. What's he waiting to spend this on is my question. Does he have his hatcheries hotkeyed? No, he doesn't have his hatcheries hotkeyed. Wait. Is he going back to each hatchery and... Because that's Ravagers, that's Lurkers, that's Ravagers. Holy smokes, I don't think he has his hotkey or his hatcheries hotkeyed. Super weird. Alright, so Vampy might be able to get back into this thing just because the lack of hotkeying from Bensonhurst. But at the same time, the income looks really, really good for Benson. He has 3,000 and 1,700 in the bank. VampyWorm says you're maxed out, right? And Benson's at 185, so he's close, but not quite. But I don't think he's going to go ahead and answer that question. Yeah, Benson's saying maybe. There's no reason to give your opponent the intel on your army that they want. But look at this expanding by Vampy, and same thing by Benson, if we're honest with ourselves. Both players at 60-ish harvesters, 68 to 61 in favor of VampyWorm. Looks like Benson has sacrificed a bunch of his drones to make this happen. Yeah, building this base was a bunch of drones. Building this base was a bunch of drones as well. But here we come, lurkers in the front. I think he's just waiting for +3/+3 right now. I'm pretty sure that's the intent for Bensonhurst. But coming up, going to burrow those lurkers in the front and then say, hey, Vampy, come on in here, son. Oh, the lurker damage. Then the corrosive bile. I'm not sure what's doing more damage here. Corrosive bile or the... Oh, that's it. Vampy says, how? How do you have so many lurkers? Corrosive on top of everything. How do I deal with this, says Vampy. A little bit of rage. Ravagers in the front. Lurkers tearing up everything on the ground. The Void Rays might be a good answer, except for the fact that corrosive bile is falling on them left and right. And are there any Hydras left at all? No. This Void Ray army might be able to clean this up, assuming the corrosive bile hits don't hit super duper well. Vampy saying, look at this. Look at what is happening to me. Not happy at all. But the Void Rays, man, 3 kills, 0 kills, 1 kill. The DPS isn't too great. They don't really have the upgrades to deal with this army. +3/+3 has now finished. Corrosive bile's on top, hitting. It's just only 60 damage. There's a lot of... Yep, a lot of HP on these Void Rays, but that's it. Benson's saying, make adept. Vampy's saying, I did. I absolutely did. Is he still making units? Nope, pretty much given up at this point. Just having a philosophical discussion about StarCraft with his opponent. Vampy saying, they get melted. Man, Benson's saying, make more in the beginning. Yeah, I have to agree. VampyWorm didn't do a great job harassing. Get him in the drone lines, it's OP. Exactly. There was not much harassment at all from our Protoss player, and Bensonhurst was just allowed to macro up like a beast the entire time. Vampy sighing, but how? Warp ship. I think he's talking about a warp prism. It's just moving on up with this Ravager attack, plus all the way upgraded. They do 20 damage with a range of 6. It's the same as roaches, right? Exact same as the roaches. Spines and spores really help against that, says Vampy. And round we go, but I really think the intent here of what Bensonhurst is trying to say, yep, his drops are dead, and you made a Ravagers, is that you really at least need to try to harass. Vampy actually worried about corrosive bile hitting his Warp Prism, which is probably true. We talked in one of my previous videos about corrosive bile being easy to dodge most of the time, but with units that can't move like Warp Prisms in warp mode, that might be a good idea. VampyWorm throwing out that must be nice to have Zerg macro itself. Vampy, no. This is the latest patch. Look how much energy is on this queen. No auto-injects at all. He was wrong about that. Benson used his timing ability. For whatever reason, he's really good at Zerg and Legacy of the Void, even though he says he mained Terran in Heart of the Swarm. But in the end, pretty amazing game here from both of these players. Thank you for the submission, VampyWorm. I do appreciate it, even if you did rage just a little bit here. Thanks again to Team Ascension for lending one of your players and his replays. All right, so this has been FalconPaladin with yet another Daily Blizzard upload. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.